Hi guys, this is a bit of a weird kind of nowhere video because I've been taking part in the Project TBR Readathon set up by Benjamin of Tomes this week, and I wanted to post a TBR for it over last weekend, but I lost my voice Friday through about Tuesday, so the point at which I could have posted a TBR was completely missed. And I can't see what I look like right now, but I know that my eyes are watering, and this is because my body's gone, oh, you've just been ill for a week and a half. You know what you need? A cold. I'm a bit of a mess at the minute, but I wanted to post a video today and I can actually talk this week. So although it's almost the end of the readathon, which ran from the 16th to the 22nd of February, and I obviously know how this week pans out, I'm going to tell you which books I picked out for my TBR and then kind of update you on it so that you can see how it's gone. So the first challenge was to read a book under 250 pages, for which I picked out Neil Gaiman's The Ocean at the End of the Lane. Goodreads says that this copy is over 250 pages, but it's including a lot of interview with the author and stuff. So I figured that since the story itself was under 250 pages and I didn't really want to read the interview, this would be fine. It was already on my TBR for this month and I figured that if I crammed it into a week when I was trying to read loads of books, it would get done and that would be really good. The second challenge was to read a book over 500 pages, for which I picked out City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. Obviously you know that I've been devouring my way through this series. I figured I might as well carry that on, and I know that I can read these very quickly. The third challenge is to read a book that has green on the cover, for which I pulled out my copy of Daphne du Maurier's Jamaica Inn, which is also on my TBR for February. It's about 300 pages long, so I figured that compared to my other green books, which are things like The Three Musketeers and the complete works of Shakespeare, this wouldn't be too hard a read. The fourth challenge was to read a book that is underhyped, for which I picked out Darius and Twig by Walter Dean Myers. I based the underhypedness of this on the fact that it has less than 1,000 ratings on Goodreads. It's also incredibly short, so I figured I could rush through that. And there is a fifth and final challenge for kind of if you complete all the others, which was to read a sequel. If I get to that point, I plan on just finishing off the Percy Jackson series, but obviously I know what's happened this week, so let's get on to that. So I didn't read these in the order of the challenges at all. I figured it was arbitrary and just did what I thought was best. So first off, I picked up Darius and Twig. I won this book in a competition at book club, so although this book has all sorts of really high ratings and the author was a national ambassador for young people's literature, this is not my sort of book at all, and I figured that if I just put it at the beginning of a readathon, I would get through it and that would be the end of it. And this actually really surprised me. It had a very clever way of focusing on the characters, and although there were events in the book, it managed to maintain the focus on the characters rather than the events, which actually made it really interesting because it was quite a personal developmental story, and that was really cool. And it's all seen through the eyes of Darius, who is kind of known as a writer at his school, watching his best friend Twig and kind of living vicariously through him and his winning in a way. I liked that events didn't kind of overtake them, that it focused in on being the people that they wanted to be. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to. So that took me about 24 hours to read, and next up I read The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I felt like I was kind of betraying what everyone thinks of Neil Gaiman because I was reading it thinking I probably won't keep this when I finished it. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't necessarily want to read it again. And I've been talking to some people and apparently that's actually quite common with Neil Gaiman's book. You kind of really enjoy them, but once you finish them, that's kind of it. In a way, it's lost the element of surprise, but this was really good. The only other Neil Gaiman that I've read is Coraline, so this was a bit strange because I managed to pick the other book with a kind of other mother bad guy, and I've had to be reassured that not all of his bad guys are the same. This is where I give the game away as to how my reading has gone this week, but I am currently reading Jamaica Inn. I always get busier towards the end of the week, so my reading slowed down massively because I haven't had the time. Daphne du Maurier is one of those authors who, when I'm not reading her, I forget how much I enjoy reading her writing. Whilst the story to this is moving along, her writing is quite dense and descriptive and it's beautiful, but it's taking me a bit longer to get through than another book would. But I'm still really new to readathons, so I'm kind of learning how to pick out the books that I will get through the fastest in a way. I'm almost 100 pages through it at the minute. This is the bit that I've read and that's the bit that I haven't. It's so good. To be honest, at the end of the day, I don't mind that I've only read 3 books this week because it's still getting me through books on my TBR shelf that I wouldn't have got through otherwise, and I think that's really cool. I'll probably be back on the Cassandra Clare binge by this time next week, but I have enjoyed reading other books for a little while. It's been really nice and actually properly got me in the mood for the whole 0x16 thing of this year to get through the books that are on my shelf. So yeah, that has been my very belated TBR for the Project TBR Readathon, and a kind of updatey thing. We've only got a day left now, so I am going to go and feel sorry for myself a little bit more because that is my natural state, but I hope you guys are having amazing weeks. I hope you have really good weekends, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye! eye is completely closing up. I'm sorry.